So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our conjunction video of the week. And this week we're going to be covering Sun Venus conjunction in the 11th house and what happens when these two planets are sitting in the 11th house of your horoscope. And as always, if you do not know, if you have this particular conjunction, what sign it's in, what nakshatra it's in, all the other astrological details, for that, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, consultations, and link to my academy, Magha Vedic Astrology Academy, where I'm currently teaching planets through nakshatras. So, let's not waste time. So, when these two planets are conjunct in the 11th house, so 11th house is a house of fulfillment of desires, like hopes, wishes, desires. It's the house of achievements, recognition, awards. It's even represents children in a chart, meaning children of the spouse, and it represents many other things than just these things that I've said. But these are the main, scenarios of this house. So one thing, the way to understand this conjunction is that you got to understand the Aries zodiac sign, meaning making Aries the ascendant and understanding which houses these planets, rule. So Sun ruling the 5th house, Venus ruling the 7th and 2nd house. They have that energy always together whenever they're conjunct. So naturally, this person with Venus, even if Venus is combust, they are greatly romantic individuals. They want romance. They want love. And specifically, this person usually tends to marry someone much younger than them. Much more youthful, I should say, because Venus is beauty, right? Venus is exuberance. Sun puts the floodlight on Venus. And so what happens is that they tend to always be attracted to people who are very youthful. Now, of course, youth is Mercury, but we're talking about in terms of that romantic encounter. So usually you will see like a woman may actually marry a younger person. Man will marry a girl who may be like 10, 8, 10 years younger than them. And also, especially after marriage, you will start making many political connections with diplomats, connections with government officials. And usually a person gets interested, not really in politics, but in world affairs. Like they want to, instead of like going in politics, they want to kind of like work for the UN. They want to attend all these, events where world leaders are discussing things. And on practical side, this person will be very much interested in attaining education in economics. Economics and literature becomes a very strong scope of interest. May not be like their major, because of course I've seen people who become IT professionals. I see people who become medical professionals, but that interest will always be there. And especially after the birth of your first child, a lot of recognition, achievements, and awards comes in. But the first child has to be born with this conjunction, regardless of the ascendant. The other thing you'll also see is that one's father will be an extremely charming person with a great personality. Like they just attract. And due to this individual, whomever has this, will grow up to understand how to connect with people, how to communicate with people. So they kind of like fall into the same footsteps with the father. And usually they always gain through the government. So if someone has business, gain through government will come through, let's say, paying the least amount of taxes. Gains with government will come through having certain loopholes, come into play so they can do business in a certain area there where they couldn't do business before. One thing we also see is that the spouse of the native will be very much attracted towards like social reform, social welfare, activism, but also very financially savvy. Like the spouse will know, where and how to invest money, how to deal with money, how to make that connection to make that right choice. Usually you'll also see people who may have some kind of a birthmark, or especially after the birth of the first child, you will see your region below the knee. I don't know what you call this region between the ankle and the knee, but in this region, somehow some mark will show up. Some, cut will happen. And that's actually kind of like an omen saying that, okay, your 11th house is now active. And those achievements are going to be seen. So usually sometimes, when we're like taking a shower or just looking at our hands and we're like wondering, what is this? What's going on? Why did this mark show up? And it's not doing anything. It's been there for like 7-8 years. And you're like, okay, maybe it's just age. But if you track back in time, perhaps that mark would show up, or the moment that you saw that mark, see if an event related to that house occurred. So that usually you will see. Also with this conjunction, one thing we'll see is that a person can become a bit of a tyrant. Like they hate giving up their seat or giving up their spot for someone else. They do not want to let go of their spot. They will do whatever they can. They can even sabotage situations to get what they want. Usually I've also seen people who can drink excessively. If one drinks, they will drink excessively. Sure, you will find somebody who's been a vegan and doesn't drink, but those, I'm saying, who drink will go into much excess of it. But one of the best things that happens here, if let's say Venus is not combust in this situation, is that not only they get the ability to do business after marriage, but marriage elevates their fame and recognition. Then the other thing we also see is that one finds devoted bosses towards them. Like you'll find a boss or, like a manager above you who will be devoted to you, who will be devoted to your progress. Now, remember, I'm saying this without any aspect or conjunction of any other planet upon this particular conjunction. So you're going to have to kind of like take it with a grain of salt. You just have to see that, hey, what is being impacted on this? And the simplest thing is more benefic aspects, more good, more malefic aspects, more restrictions, and more oppositions. It's that simple. Okay. So guys, this is my analysis of Sun and Venus in the 11th house of your birth chart. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below so you don't miss these type of videos. And if you want to know what your conjunctions are, what your other planetary placements are, check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.